Stay tuned, everybody, because it's time for the Playin on Music Row podcast with your host, Fran. Heard each week on this station. And now, here's Fran.
Well, welcome, everyone. And we want to welcome Cyndi Aarrestad to our show today on Playin on Music Row. Thank you, Cyndi, for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me, Fran. I appreciate it.
It's quite a pleasure. And I know you're coming from up there in Canada, our neighbors. So that's great.
Yes, that's right.
Okay. Well, you come from a very musical family, and it was and very God-fearing. Can you just give us a little idea how that influenced you in your music and your life? I guess?
Yes, for sure. Yeah, we just kind of grew up with being surrounded with music. Both our parents loved the Lord, and we were raised in a family that grew up worshiping together in church, and just we would go sing at community functions or mostly at nursing homes. But we just all played instruments and enjoyed spending time singing. And my dad was always, anybody could find him where he was working because he was always singing. So it was a great legacy to have.
Okay. Well, let me say, did you perform actually? Did your family perform when you were growing up, or?
Not in a professional setting. We just kind of volunteered at, like I say, mostly at nursing care homes, that sort of thing, and at church.
Well, that's very nice. I can tell you from doing nursing homes, they really appreciate it. Well,
yes,
you have a new album which is called Gratitude. Can you give us a little bit of a idea of the background of that project?
For sure. So this actually kind of came out of nowhere. I was not intending to do this album. I'm working on another one at home, actually. And my brother and the gentleman, Steve, that helped me do the last one, Offerings, that you had featured, Steve contacted me late in December, asked if I wanted to do anything. And I said I didn't know if it was in the works right now. And then he messaged my brother about the second week of January and said he had a cancellation. Somebody had to postpone, and said, I'll give you a great deal. And so he said, do you want to do it? And obviously I was happy to do that. And my brother is, again, supporting me with a lot of the funding of the album. And it just, some of the songs we worked through just fell into place. I wasn't sure of the title until after, and it just all kind of fit together. So it was really neat. It was kind of a God ordained thing, I guess. I feel it was just how everything fell into place so quickly, and just even our studio time just all fell into place really well. So it's songs that are very meaningful to me, and it convey the message of gratitude and hope, and just focusing on what God's done for us and what he wants to do in and through us too.
Okay. Well, I mean, that was like a last minute project. Did you have songs already penned? I mean, that you wrote that you want to do, or did you have to quickly write some?
No, I have quite a repertoire of songs in my songbooks that haven't been heard yet. So most of the ones on this album were written in the last year or two. And one of them actually was written while we were in the process of choosing songs. I added one more so it just felt like it went with everything else, and Steve really liked it, so we put it in there as well. But yeah, most of them were written in the last in 2020, 2021 to 22, I guess. Yeah.
Okay. Well, one of the songs on the Gratitude album is called Louder. And we're going to play that video for you, play the song. But could you give us a little bit of background on that song, please?
Sure. And that's one actually I've been singing it for months here. It's just one that kind of came to me when, we're hearing so much negative information on the news. There's so much confusion and so many voices yelling at us of what to believe, what not to believe. And one day I sat down and I just felt like I just need to hear God's voice more than any of those other voices. And I also need to hear his words more than any other words. And that's just it flowed out of that longing to have something more, not just more positive, but the truth. We struggle sometimes to know what's truth out there right now. And I just wanted to hear his voice above all. And so I say it's kind of been almost a little anthem for me lately. Every time I hear something, I'm like, I want to hear him first. So that's where the background is in that.
Well, that's great. Well, let's take a listen to Louder from the Gratitude album.
So many voices, so many words, so many shouting, trying to be heard. So much confusion, so much debate, so much division, anger, fear, and hate.
Well, excellent. That was really nice, Cyndi. And you mentioned that you started from when you're growing up, that you had your parents, your family actually was involved in music. Can you tell me when actually then did you start writing? Did you write when you were really young, or did you just recently start?
No, I think I wrote my first one when I was 12, but I mostly started after about 15 or 16. That's kind of when it really started getting going, and it hasn't stopped. Yeah, it just, my mom was a creative person, and she wrote little songs too. And, I feel it's a little bit of a inherited thing too. And it's just obviously a gift. I mean, I know that God has given me this gift, and I just try to share it. Because lots of times the songs just literally just pour into my heart. I'm not thinking about writing a song or anything. They just come to me. So yeah, it's been 35, 40 years of writing. So it's just part of what I do. That's how I process life. I write songs.
Okay. Well, so you say you write a lot from your heart and everything, but do you find other ways, or like when you see things, people telling you stuff, and what other ways do you get ideas for songs?
Yeah, for sure. A lot of times it is somebody just sharing something. I'll read something that kind of just strikes me, or just hear something in a song, or just what somebody's maybe saying at church, or just in everyday life. Sometimes I'm just in my own home or going about my daily work. I'm just singing songs of praise or praying, and then a song will just drop into my heart. Sometimes reading a scripture, it's like it jumps out. It's like a lightning bolt to my heart. Sometimes it's just literally, it's just like I know that. And sometimes I hear something and I know there's a song there. I might have one line, and then I'll go home, and then just kind of the rest will come then. But it very often is just like, it just comes. I don't even know how to explain it, but it just kind of drops into my heart.
Okay. Do you have like what some people call a hook book, where you hear certain things and you write them down and then go back to them and write them, or do you immediately write what you heard?
Most times I immediately write it if I can. There's times I'm not able to, depending where I am, and I will write it down or put it on my iPad or something, or I'll just record a real quick, line on my phone, just so I don't forget it. Because sometimes even in the middle of the night they'll come, and I sometimes have to get up and record it, or else I will forget them lots of times. So yeah, I've learned to do that because I've lost some of them by not doing that. So if I can, I do it immediately, but lots of times I have to write something down so I don't forget it.
Okay. Well, I know about the staying at night because that happens to me too. But I know of one writer who actually a guy was very, very well known. But he in the middle of the night he woke up, and his wife used to carry a recorder. So he came up in the middle of the night. He wrote the song, put down, and then when he got up, she said, "Boy, that was a great song you wrote last night." He goes, "What song?" He didn't even remember.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So,
yeah.
Well, there were several different genres of Christian music. How do you think you fit into that? What genre would you say your sound?
Yeah, and that's a difficult question. I don't really feel like I fit into any one exclusively. I feel like kind of my basis would be more of a praise worship country gospel, but I have some folk, I have some Southern gospel, I've done a couple Jewish sounding albums and I've done more folky, I guess, as well. So I don't really I don't really fit in one category. I feel like the songs come as they do, and I just kind of go with them. So
okay, well, that's great. So you in this Gratitude album, how many songs are on that album, may I ask?
yes, there's 8 songs. It's just an EP, so it's not a full-length album, but there's 8. It's about a half hour of listening.
Okay, well, that's almost an album. I mean,
yeah, almost.
Yeah, that's plenty. But on Gratitude, you have another song, which is What We've Been Created For, which I think we know what that. But can you give us a little idea how that came about, and the background on that song, please?
Yeah, and that's actually one of those songs that just literally fell into me, my heart. I was walking into my music room. I was intending to go work on a music video. And as I was walking in my door, I opened my mouth and literally started singing the chorus. And I didn't get to my video because then I sat with my guitar and wrote the song the next hour or so. And so, yeah, that was literally one that just fell into my heart. But it kind of expresses what I feel is my purpose, and I feel we all are created for the reason of worshiping God and our lives, not just what we say and do, but all our life is for that purpose. And so it just kind of expresses that, and that he's the one that is deserving of all the honor and praise. And I just it's a reminder for myself of that, but I hope it reminds our viewers too and listeners.
Okay, well, let's take a listen to What We've Been Created For by Cyndi Aarrestad.
Blessed be the name of Jesus. You alone deserve the praises as we give our adoration unto you.
Okay, we want to make sure we get that last note, and that's for sure. That was very nice. It was very nice, there,
Thank
Cyndi.
you.
Let me ask this. Were you going to be touring or performing in support of Gratitude?
Not really. It's pretty small scale. I'm just in a rural area, and I do, I sing at local functions, and if something opens up, I'm hoping to do some little home concerts. But at this point, I mean, I don't have a band or anything. I just got to do my own thing. So yeah, it's just more local, nothing major, but I would love to if it ever opened up. But for right now, that's all it is.
Okay. Do you have like TV tracks, which are the tracks without your vocal, and then you perform in church or anything like that?
I don't have any tracks. No, I have, I guess on these last two, I have the instrumental tracks for them through
Okay.
my producer, but not any of my other ones.
Okay. All right. Well, I mean, right, that's sometimes that's a good way to perform in the church.
Mhm.
Let me ask this question. How can the listeners find out more about your music?
Yes, thank you for asking. So I have my website, which is www.cindyaarrestad.ca. And that's where you can find all about me and all my music. Most streaming platforms carry it, so Spotify, iTunes, and most of the main ones. I'm on some other internet radio shows as well, and then it is being played over on some independent radio stations in Europe right now. I sent just the one track, The Louder, is being just sent out last week. But yeah, if you're trying to find me, I'm also on SoundCloud and SoundClick. There's quite a few other sites, but for most of it, you go to my website and you can find all that information out.
Would you want to maybe tell them how to spell your last name? Maybe
Sure.
to help them out.
Yeah, and it's Cyndi. Cyndi is Cyndi, and the last name is AARRESTAD.ca.
It's actually pretty easy, but I want to make sure. Okay, well, I've asked a lot of questions. Is there anything that I haven't asked that you would like to say to the listening audience?
Well, I'd just like to say, if you're looking for something that's kind of uplifting, encouraging music that's got a little bit, like say, a little bit of country, a little bit of inspirational, a little folk, you can give it a listen. And I hope that it'll really be something that you find enjoyable, and also that it maybe blesses you. And I'd like to say too, if you feel that you enjoy it and you think there's somebody else that might, I would love if you would share it. Obviously, that's one of the ways we get our music distributed, is by just word of mouth and people sharing anything that they like about it. So I hope you enjoy it. I hope it's a real I don't know, touches your heart in a special way.
Yeah, well, it's very nice. Well, Cyndi, I want to thank you for taking the time to speak with us today. It was really nice of you to go out of your way to speak with us.
Well, I really appreciate you, Fran, taking the opportunity or giving me the opportunity to talk to you and share this with your listening audience. I really appreciate it. And it gives me gratitude to share it with you.
You're quite welcome, Cyndi.